Hi everybody and welcome to Riggs Garage. This video is going to cover what all went into the engine for the 1970 Mustang. That's going to be parts and supplies. This Mustang, like the 63 Chevy big block Chevy truck, is being built on a budget. Check out the entire truck build video in the card above. I'll put it up there. So this video is not going to cover the ancillary items that make an engine run, things like radiator, fuel tank, fuel hoses, fuel system, stuff like that. This is just the engine itself. I want to make this as realistic as possible for somebody who's wanting to do a similar project. I'll review what we have here. Right now we have a 289 block, crank, pistons, rods. These are all reused from what I got with the car. The 302 heads are from a 1969 Ford 302 something. Lots of this is random parts put together. So check out the engine build videos in the channel and the rest of the Mustang build playlist. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for consistent project updates and features. You can see me at Riggs Garage. I ended up making this engine prettier than I wanted, but whatever, just look at it. It looks really good. I tried to keep it factory looking with some tasties like stainless steel bolts, painted aluminum intake, the old school Mickey Thompson valve covers, original looking bracketry, and a touch of gold that you'll see throughout the build. And you can see some other gold stuff on Instagram that I haven't shown in videos yet. As for the budget review portion of this video, I'm pretty good at remembering everything. I wrote most of the parts down as I went, and I have some receipts. I rounded everything up to the nearest dollar, so in the sheet I have really easy math. And when I round up, that covers some of the random stuff that I might forget, like an O-ring here or hose clamps here or there, a random gasket, things like that. That stuff all adds up really quickly. I also tried to account for that in the budget that you're going to see now. Here's the budget. Can you see it? Great. The engine, we'll start at the very top here. The engine came with the car, 289 block, 302 heads at the time. The heads that I use in this project, they are also 302 heads. I got them off of a Facebook Marketplace deal for $160. They were fresh from the machine shop, and they were bolted to an engine that was also rebuilt, and it was never run. So basically I peeled the gaskets off of them, and I did a port job. Check the video for the home done port job I did on those. I spent about $60 on a gasket kit. I did spend a little bit more money on header gaskets. I got the crush aluminum type or crush copper, I don't remember. And basically they crush and do not leak. I've had really cheap header gaskets that blow out, like the ones that come with the headers. They blow out within a week or so. Not worth the work. So just spend 30 bucks on gaskets. Head gaskets, I got a higher end pair of Felpro gaskets. I got a milling standard oil pump. I did buy a one-piece, really nice blue Felpro oil pan gasket because I didn't want to do that again. So that was $25, 68 cents. That's one I had a receipt for clearly. I got really nice valve cover gaskets as well, 26 bucks. I got a Carter fuel pump from O'Reilly. I was right at 20 bucks. I spent money on the crankshaft of the engine. It had been machined before. It was turned, but whoever did it did a terrible job. I don't know what they did. They must use a flap wheel or something. But that is now turned 20 thousandths on the mains and 30 thousandths on the rods. And that's probably as far as that crank will ever go. I believe the book probably doesn't go further than that, but I don't remember. I had the rods resized, and they also pressed in ARP bolts as well. So I spent money on those ARP bolts, and those are accounted for below. Yeah, good. Oil and filter, 25 bucks. As you can see, I did spend some time and money on paint for this engine. Hopefully you guys like that. The car's pretty beat and rusty, but under the hood, it's going to be beautiful. All right, engine bearings. I did main and rod bearings. I did buy 2 sets of main bearings because one of them got killed by the aforementioned horrifying crankshaft debacle. I ended up buying ARP head bolts. In one of the videos, you'll see that I did have a main bolt snap off, so that scared me, and I did go ahead and buy really good quality bolts for this engine because I want it to hold together. And maybe in the future there might be like a cheap little GT45 turbo. We'll see. So yeah, we have the ARP head bolts, ARP rod bolts. Now the carburetor, I was going to rebuild the Holley 1850 that came with the car, but that thing's full of mouse poop and disgusting stuff. So I found a guy who was moving and selling all his car stuff really cheap on Facebook Marketplace. So I got another Holley 1850, 600 CFM, and it was pulled off a running vehicle, and it came with a jet kit, a rebuild kit, and a pile of Holley parts, spacers, all sorts of stuff. I got all that stuff for $100, and the jet kit alone was like 70 bucks. So that was a smoking deal. I'm going to bolt that carburetor on and just hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll pull it apart and clean it, but it's going to be way less work than the rat turd carburetor that came with the car. All right, piston rings, more wear items that are replaced. We have fresh piston rings. You can see that video where I installed the rings in the engine. I did buy an alternator bracket off of Amazon, and the day after it was shipped here, I found the original. So I am going to use the one that I ordered because it was freshly powder coated and looks nice. I bought nice spark plugs for the engine, 35 bucks. Engine mounts, they're a stock rubber type. That might be a mistake. I'm thinking about ordering maybe a better set of those while I have the thing apart. All right, down here I spent money on a full stainless steel bolt kit for the engine. It had a bunch of original beat up bolts. Like I wire wheeled some of the threads, and even some of those are rusty, not really worth my time at all. Some of them snapped off as they came out, like the original intake bolts. A couple of those snapped off. That was pretty neat. Both of them run over the water pump. So one to the power steering pump and one to the alternator. Bought an air filter, and alternator has a question mark. I could have to spend money on that. I hope the one that came with the car works because it's chrome, and I don't want to buy another one. That's mostly it. So that's a question mark still, but right now the budget has me at $1,364.23. I don't know how much cheaper I could have gone on this engine build, to be honest with you. I mean, I could have not spent money on some of the shiny stuff and made it work, but the bolt kit and stuff like that, paint, it's not all that expensive. So without boring the engine over and buying new pistons or a stroker kit or something like that, I think the budget's pretty good. Keep watching this stuff. I appreciate everybody watching, and leave a comment below if you have questions about the car. I like answering comments, and I go through all of them. Thanks for watching Riggs Garage, guys.